Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manali Jangid, and I welcome you all in HR Samvad. HR Samvad is a curated HR leadership community built for professionals who believe HR is more than operations. It is a combination of strategy, innovation, and organizational transformation. From AI driven HR practices and labor law updates to leadership discussions and workplace culture, we create meaningful conversations that help organizations stay future ready. HR Samvad is bringing a webinar series to discuss about the changes in HR tech related to AI, latest reforms, compliances, etc. Follow the page on Instagram and LinkedIn and stay tuned for more information. Now, coming back to the session, approximately 200 professionals like HRs, business leaders, payroll experts, compliance teams, industry learners, and students are live with us from different sectors like IT, healthcare, automobile, infra, manufacturing, education, hospitality, and companies like Bajaj Healthcare Limited, Jindal Saw Limited, College Dekho Group, Derek Bhaskar, Ambience Group, CK Birla Group, Black Box, JP Morgan Chase, Aqua Machine, Galantic Pharma, Rajesh Motors, Tata Memorial Hospital, Choice India, Fortis, Bank of Baroda, Maruti Suzuki, Rivati Equipment Limited, Tata Motors Limited, Moolchand Healthcare, etc., covering different states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and many more. We are excited to have such an enthusiastic audience gathered for today's important and highly relevant session, which is on new labor codes decoded, what HR must know before it gets too late. The new labor codes represent more than just legal reforms. They introduce structural changes that directly affect how organizations manage compensation and compliance. From salary structuring and payroll processing to provident fund contributions, gratuity calculations, and employee benefits, these codes reshape the very framework of workforce management. For employers, this means revisiting HR policies and financial planning, while employees may see tangible differences in take home pay, retirement savings, and long term entitlements. Today's session is designed to answer these practical concerns in a simple, conversational, and action oriented format. This is not just another web presentation, it is a live podcast style discussion where we'll decode the labor codes with real industry perspectives and practical insights. We are privileged to have with us two highly experienced industry experts. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Sanjay Suthar, who is Six Sigma Green Belt certified and brings more than 35 years of experience in HR and industrial relations. He has conducted 150 plus pan India workshops on new labor codes and widely respected for simplifying complex compliance concepts into practical HR strategies. Joining him is Advocate Harpreet Singh Walia, an experienced HR and labor law consultant with over 16 years of industrial experience, who will share valuable legal and compliance perspectives that every HR professional should understand. Today, we begin this session. There is a small request to all the participants. Please keep your questions ready and feel free to interact during the session via chat section only. We encourage participation because the more practical the discussion becomes, the more valuable it will be for everyone attending. Let's begin this insightful session and decode the HR compliance together. Over to you, speakers.
Hello, everyone. This is Harpreet Singh Walia. Good afternoon. I hope you are all doing good. Today, as briefed by my colleague Monali about the four new labor codes which are implemented on November 2025. We are going to decode those codes so that we can make it more simplified and understand the practicality of these codes. I have been accompanied by my senior colleague, Mr. Sanjay Sutar, who has already been introduced by Monali. And today, as we will be covering all those codes, I hope that you guys will participate in an interactive mode with us and raise all your queries and questionnaires so that you can take better of the advantage of this session. So I will start with Mr. Sanjay Sutar, who is sitting next to me. Mr. Sanjay, if you can brief our audience about those
Yeah,
codes.
yeah, okay, okay. So, friends, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Manali, and thank you, Harpreet ji, for a very good introduction. And friends, we are all trying to help colleagues, and the base idea here is to have interaction. These podcast and the system-oriented program. Basically, you will be asking us a question through system. We will be able to justify our role best answering to the question that you have raised. However, we should be focused on a specific subject known as this is a learning process. And this is a kind of training program where we will, share our views on the subject. Not that our views are last and final. And you can explore the subject more, connecting your facts and circumstances prevailing in your organization establishment and create an action plan so that there is an acceleration in business. So finally, the codes are meant for supporting business, specifically known as ease of doing business, Atmanirbhar, make in India, and certain other principles, finally taking us to a trillions economy. This is what basically the purpose is. I think you agree with me. And what we are trying to do is, you see, before we got into this, designing the flow for the day, we had a certain question that we received from the audience. Very happy to share that we have almost 1,200, friends on the line who are trying to, interact with us, trying to listen to us, and trying to conceptualize labor code and conceptualize the journey. How do we transform the business forum and support the business leaders so that a kind of momentum is created in the business, taking support of the new reforms that are there in the new labor codes. So after analyzing the questions that we have received from the friends like you, there are 3, 4 subjects which friends like you finding it difficult to understand, digest, and convert that into an implementation strategy. Those subjects are the first, as you already know, that understanding wages and its implications and converting that into money and trying to find out how finance will get impacted, how stakeholders will get impacted, how business will get impacted. The central topic is first is wages. Hope you all agree with me. The second subject which people, friends, and colleagues like you finding it difficult is a recognition of trade union. And there are many more subjects, including that of a penalty and imprisonment and vagara vagara. So, Harpreet ji, I think all these subjects can be deliberated, provided if we clarify the concept of wages, if you permit me, or if you permit me, I can go ahead with the recognition of trade union.
Ahead, I would like to tell all the audience about those codes, the name of those codes which are enacted in the.
Sir, I'll help you out if you need. Sir, so there are 4 codes, and I'm sure people know the backward integration of which are all the laws connected to which codes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you numbers. Otherwise, if I start reading each labor laws, will consume 10 more minutes. So IR code is there is a backward integration of 3 labor laws. Wages code, there are four labor laws. The social security, there are 9 labor laws, and OSSW, supposed to be the biggest code, has a backward integration of almost 13 labor laws.
For those
Now let me give you certain numericals. It is otherwise only for the information, has nothing to do with the implementation part. But when you try to read all 29 labor laws, you and me are supposed to read almost 1300 sections. I don't think somebody has read that, including me. Okay, but when we convert that into 4 labor codes, you are left with 480, 70 sections almost. So to an extent, the government has reduced the size of book for me to understand and helping you and me to convert that into a best implementation strategy and see the results coming out. Harpreet ji, you would like to add something to this?
As briefed by you, I believe the code on wages and the code on social security is the foremost those two codes which come
Yes.
to our routine
Very
work
right. Very
life on daily basis.
Very
And
right.
most of the HRs are concerned about what is the definition of wages,
Wages, yes,
how
yes,
to
yes,
calculate the gratuity, the bonus,
gratuity,
and is
yes,
there any
yes,
other
yes.
definition apart from the code on wages which we have to follow, or it's the only single definition across all the acts?
See, there are almost 25 definitions across 4 codes, which are almost similar. Almost similar. I would say 4 codes, 3 codes, 2 codes. Out of them, there are few definitions which are common across 4 codes, and one of them is this wages definition. So I would propose, if you permit, we will get into a nitty-gritty of wages definition. But my experience says that there are 2 different interpretations of these wages. One is you're trying to understand wages from hearsay, from the different sources. But my understanding is that if really you to understand what exactly the articulation of wages says, then the only authentic source is a book, a law book, and one has to read minimum 3-4 times to understand each word, dot comma between the lines, and then try to digest कि इसका सही मतलब क्या है.
So you mean to say rather than going here and there,
Yes.
taking knowledge from different sources,
Correct.
Go the act to be read first.
Yes. So the best source of understanding the articulation and nitty-gritty and all that, one has to, I insist rather, it is not a suggestion, I insist that one should read the definition first. And when you read, when you try to conceptualize what the articulation says, I think it is very simple. And to an extent, I'll help the audience to understand how simple it is. Though it is complicated, but let us try to simplify that so that while simplifying, in fact, I'm helping myself to help others. I'm helping the business people and the stakeholders. You see, these labor codes are not only meant for HRIR or the advocates and consultants and the expert people, I would say. This is meant for operational people. This is meant for who understand business better than HR person.
Exactly, because it is ultimately going to affect your balance sheets as well.
So it is going to impact your balance sheet. It is going to impact your business. It is going to impact your business strategies. So when we simplify these definition of wages for the purpose of people who have not read labor laws, let us do that.
Yes.
Okay, that is what my first job is, to make it so simple that operational people, they all understand the implications and simplified complications so that your and my journey, becomes very easy.
Sanjay ji, just
So
for your information,
Yeah,
while we are making the conversation, I need to go through the
Yeah,
questionnaires as well, which I would be getting from the audience.
Correct.
So you please go ahead with your speech, and if I come across any important question, I'll put it through it.
I'll be very happy to respond back to the question that the friends have.
Yeah.
The reason being, answers are not important. What is important is the questions. The reason being, the questions are asked based on the understanding the people have developed. So either they are convinced, they are confused, they are half convinced, whatever it may be. But your and my job is to explain the all dots and commas without getting into a nitty-gritty of. Let us simplify that.
Right.
For that, I have made let me drive people to understand what labor codes are and how it can be implemented. Can I see that sheet of? Say what I have made here is a small homework wherein I have given importance to implementers. So who are implementers? Like person like you and me and all the stakeholders, they are implementers. Not all the stakeholders, they are implementers. It is only HR, IR people supposed to implement, including that of the contractors, subcontractors. Because if you see the definition of a employer, the contractor also is an employer.
Exactly.
So stakeholders are two. Though it is named as one, that is the name is employer, but employers are person like you and me and a contractor as well. So let us look at what is important for employers rather than getting into a deep analysis of things.
So we have already started getting a question that what is the proper wage definition. So again, I would like to tell the audience that if you want to understand the proper definition of the code on wages, so it's better. The best thing is read the book on code on wages. It is explained over there and it's explained in a very simplified manner. However, for your convenience, we are also going to tell you in brief.
Yeah.
Sanjay ji will explain you.
So let me start with a simple theory which I have developed for making things simple to people.
Right.
Okay. So most important part in implementation of a labor code is to further simplify based on the experience that you and me have.
Yes.
Interacting with stakeholders, interacting with the employer, interacting with the business heads and the promoters and all that. So therefore, let us follow the theory of 6S. I'm very sure you'll be able to write it down. The first S stands for strong fundamentals.
It's already reflecting on your screen.
Correct. It is there on the screen. You can note it down, you can copy it, and then if required, we'll circulate this to you all. So you can concentrate on what I'm saying. So first is, if you have very strong fundamentals, you can travel better. That is number one. Second is systematic and uniform approach. For example, I'll connect each S bullet to the example. And you see, if your revenue is 1,000 crore, for example, and if your employee cost is, I'm taking just as an example, 10%. So 10% of 1,000 crore is almost 100 crore. So you and me are in charge of almost 100 crore. And 100 crore is nothing less than an industry. So when we handle wages, we'll talk about wages in the new code, but we'll talk first about the history of labor laws, which is there for almost 100 years. Do we have a manual to handle 100 crores? The first question is this. If not, then let us put in an efforts to make sure that we have all SOPs, QOPs, and all systems in place to justify the use of 100 crore. I hope you agree with me.
Yes.
Okay. So 100 crore is nothing less than an industry per se. So first is, let us design a system manual and SOPs, QOPs, whatever way you are comfortable. You can note it down. This is what is supposed to be done. Second is simplify that. This is what, if you know, ease of doing business. The first word starts from ease. All the complications, it is you and me who will simplify that and make it easy. So this is my second job, that all the provisions which I find कि ये difficult है, तो मुझे इसको कैसे easy करना, that is my second job. Now, after doing all this, the most important in this new labor code is implementation of social security. I'm sure you know that social security is meant for two different set of people. Hope you agree with me. One is organized sector. More importance is given to unorganized sector. I'm sure you must be knowing that almost 31 point some crore people have already registered in this. And the biggest achievement of a government to drive how the social security will flow and will reach to people who are actually needy. This is a very big initiative. In fact, depends on what you and me do.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah, please.
The gig workers category, is that a part of unorganized or the organized?
It is unorganized. The reason being, gig workers have
for the audience. I want to tell you what is sir. If you can tell them what is the definition of gig workers?
Sir, gig workers का simple मतलब ये होता है an absence of traditional employer-employee relations. This is what the definition is 2 lines, but I've converted that into simple words. So gig workers has no employer. He is an aggregator. So you can read the definition of aggregator as well. Now coming back to social security. You know, this social security is meant for, in addition to organized sector, this is meant for unorganized sector as well. So the focus should be on how best we implement social security. This is more the third S is. Now, fourth S is structuring. What is structuring? Is restructuring from labor laws to labor code. It is a journey which you and me are supposed to cover, giving a confidence to all stakeholders that the transformation which is taking place is very smooth without even, you know, the third person knowing either itna bada transformation chal raha hai. So this is what your and my skills specifically talking about. How do we strengthen the stakeholders? Your and my business is centered on so many stakeholders, of which, you know, during my programs, I have enlisted almost 35 stakeholders. But an answer which was given to me by some student, he said all 140 crore, they are stakeholders of labor laws. To an extent, I agree with him.
Yes.
Because the very good answer is, the last one is, are you self-sufficient or you are dependent? In other words, government's principle says Atmanirbhar. So all these 5, 6 S, you can, you know, conveniently you can implement, you can add few more S, and then you can go ahead and design your journey so that everywhere the stakeholders are happy. It is not only an employer is happy, CMD, ED, ठीक है, they are all happy. But you know, the major repercussions that you get, you get repercussions from stakeholders. All line of actions that you are taking, people should be happy. And this is what for simplification of labor has converted into volume.
Right.
So the first purpose is taking people together. Very good example of a teamwork. Okay. So now after explaining this, let me go ahead with the prime question that you had of understanding code on wages and specifically, you know, the definition of wages.
Yes.
So what I have done is I have reproduced in the next the same.
Next slide.
Next slide. थोड़ा आगे बढ़ाओ इसको. Next slide. इसमें नहीं बढ़ रहा है, इसमें क्या हो गया? So first is, you know, when you look at a definition of wages, it starts from the first paragraph. That first paragraph is almost 6-7 lines, and I suggest, I advise, I insist that we will focus on this paragraph after we complete the total understanding of total definition. And you can see on your screen that I've created one box, put one number on that with an arrow from top to bottom. So you can read that. First is basic pay. Second is dearness allowance. उसके बाद लिखा है and retaining allowance, then comma, and then if any. I think these part of the definition, it is well understood. People have no confusion with regard because you see, all of us, we are paid basic. Okay, some companies, they go for DA, VDA, and retaining allowance is not that HR retention allowance. This is meant for seasonal factories and all that. I think you can dig more onto this. And all those who are into manufacturing services, third allowance is not applicable.
Yes, for those who don't know about the retaining allowance.
Okay, so retaining allowance we will discuss when we further proceed. So I am sure people will have no question. But if you have a question on this first arrow, then you can ask, put your questions into the chat box, and we will be happy to respond. You see, we are trying to generate an interaction so that we communicate internally with you, and we can respond back to the question that you have. Otherwise, it is impossible to talk to 1,200 people versus 2 people.
Exactly.
Correct. So what you can do is you can use your chat box, if not right across, but subsequently we'll try, depending upon the time permissions, we will try to answer back to the question that you have raised. This is number one. Number two, in case if it is not responded, let us say like this. If it is not responded, we will continue our journey. We will arrange a few more programs and we'll see to it that you are personally helped. And we will create a help desk, and then finally we intend to help you people, not within the limits of 2 hours, but we can extend the journey further. and we can
True.
we can enrich the fraternity across India. This is what I intend to do that. So I think there are no questions on the arrow first. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let us go to the second one. ये move नहीं हो रहा है. So second one, you see, first one you would have noted, there are three components. Let me go back to without getting into the first arrow. So there are three components. You can open your notebook and write down three on that. So what you're supposed to do is write down one, write two, write three, and write down each component's name. For example, basic, then DA, put a small word so that it becomes very easy for you to recollect.
So do you mean want to say that 50% which should be including is basic?
Sir, this is first arrow. I'll explain second arrow, then third, and then I'll come to the point that you are raising.
People need to write it down as well to simplified manner.
So
first arrow is basic DA and
yes. So, sir, let me invest a little of a time to understand how people react seeing bullet number one, the arrow number one. So let me go to the second one. Second one says that there are 9 components. It is when you read, it's very difficult for somebody to read. But you know what is written here is any bonus payable under any law for the time being in force. If I read the whole of a 9 bullets, it will consume a whole of 2 hours and then we'll be left with no other jobs. What I want you to do is, in addition to 3 that you have written, you write 9 more components, making it 12. Okay. Now I want you to observe a few words which I have highlighted when I have understood in a different way. If you read these word any, these word any is getting repeated frequently amongst 9 components.
What does it mean, any here?
Sir, meaning is that, any का मतलब क्या होता है? कुछ भी आप ले लो, any bonus, for example, you very, very rightly asked. So, कितना bonus होता है? Let me explain you different bonuses which I have come across. One is you got the bonus on a monthly basis known as advance bonus. Second is the bonus, you got a customary bonus. Third bonus, you got a puja bonus. You got 8.33 onwards up to 20%, you got this bonus. Third is, people call it ex gratia, but it's a cousin brother of, you can say cousin brother. I'm using this word. So ex gratia is nothing but a bonus. Third one is, if you refer to section 31A of a bonus act, these bonuses payable on a monthly basis between 8.33 to 20%. If it is linked through a settlement and to a productivity. So you see, the law has given us a lot of freedom to utilize bonuses for the purpose of using. You have seen many settlements union is signing so that they get a monthly bonus rather than waiting for 18 months to get some amount. Okay, so bonuses like these, there are 9 types of different bonuses.
Right.
That means it is connected to any. So your word is centered around any.
Right.
अभी आप देखेंगे तो उसमें लिखा है any law for the time being in force which does not form a part of remuneration under terms of. So these particular phrase is connected to 2 different legal documents. One is bonus act. There could be another bonus. There could be another act. Could be, I am saying, specifically talking about bonus. And the third one is terms of employment. Now, when HR people, they design CTC and gross structure, which is not a part of definition per se, these words are not used by the articulators. So when you design an terms of appointment, how this bonus is reflected will tell you any. So there are many people who are designing bonus. But any means whatever bonus you are thinking about will get fitted into this.
Right.
With whatever is the frequency of payment.
That's what I need.
Maybe. So therefore, using these words by articulators, if you look at the whole 9 components, almost 12-13 times this word is used. Any. इसके साथ में, if you see another word which is known as or, that also is used 9 times. So I am telling you all this number is to understand the umbrella being created to encompass whatever salary structure, wage structure you have to be fitted into any or. So very near to all components that you are thinking about. And this is how the 9 components are. And you see, on a minute observation of these 9 components, there are 3-4 components which varies. You can note it down this word. You can you can use you can these 9 components. 3-4 components are such a way it is designed that it has per person per month variable.
Right, sir. Right.
For example, हरप्रीत जी आपको बोनस मिलता है तो मुझे शायद नहीं मिलेगा क्योंकि मेरा अटेंडेंस कम है. दूसरा, योर कमीशन इज व्हाट? Commission is nothing but an incentive, your performance pay. If you look at the different wages definition today, which is in existence in labor laws, it says that commission or similar allowance paid for performance.
Right.
So I would clarify it to the friends that commission and incentives are again a similar words to me. If you have a difference of opinion, you can explore more on the subject and convince yourself.
That would do.
Of course, yes. This is my opinion. And my opinion is never last opinion. You can correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
Right, sir. So let's get back to the one which we were discussing, that which all components are not included. So going ahead from bonus, the other things, the value of any house accumulation, any contribution paid by to any pension or provident fund, these are not included in the definition of wages.
Yes,
so
yes.
These needs to be included on another part of 50%.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest, why I'm paying attention to different components of A to I is because more confusions are there. In this A to I, there are 9 components. There are no confusions, rather zero confusions in basic DA and retaining allowance. It is very simple for anyone to understand. But the people who are trying to restructure, they have maximum questions on these components.
Exactly. These
why
are the questions which are coming across.
Yeah. So why I'm trying to highlight these 2 words, any and or, is that it covers almost everything that you have into this 9, and you go ahead with the restructure.
So for simplification of the audience, anything apart from basic TNS allowance, retaining allowance,
yes,
that will not form the part of wages. Only 50% in a consolidated way, basic, DA and HR.
Sir,
anything else apart from that will go into the another 50% of
correct.
Total. You can say it a gross salary, you can say it as a CTC,
correct,
whatever
correct.
the definition you want to give,
yes,
or any
yes,
word you
yes,
want
yes.
to give it.
Yeah.
So that will come onto into another 50% of the total wages.
Sir, your verdicts, I'll take it forward when I'll go to 3rd arrow, 4th arrow, 5th arrow, and then I'll try to re-explain the device that you have created.
Right.
So let me see all of them. They have understood this A to I in a right fashion. Number 1. Number 2 is I am trying to help you out reading some important words which I could sense. You can get into more details and try to understand that everything that you pay other than basic DA, they are all encompassing here in this 9.
Right.
My personal view is that you cannot travel beyond 9 components. This is what it is. This is why the articulator said that any component, any bonus, any overtime,
you can give it any name.
You can have any name that you have arrived at in your company, but has to be fixed in this 9 components. This is what
special allowance, with a normal allowance.
So overtime allowance, whatever. So your first job is to equate these 9 components to the components that you have designed over a period of whatever years that you have invested. Okay, so that is the first job. If there are no questions coming on to your screen, I think I should.
Sir, one question I have is DA mandatory to be given in the private sector?
Sorry, come on.
DA.
Sir, it is not mandatory. DA is never a mandatory. There are many companies, the DA is inbuilt in basic. Inbuilt in basic.
This is more into the government sector.
Yes, or any sector. There are even private sectors signing settlement with the workmen. They have neutralization factors. They have, how the money is connected to different, CPN series or similar series, वगैरह. They decide based on how it has to be inflected. It can be even a monthly variable, quarterly variable, half yearly, yearly. They decide based on how they equate with the unions and all that.
Right, sir.
But this is more prevailing when the atmosphere is unionized. Okay. So should I go to the next?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So let me switch over to the next. Now the third third arrow. It's otherwise very simple to understand. And these two bullets, this specifically talking about gratuity. Now, gratuity you get when you can read there are 5 instances where you get a termination, death, retirement, resignation. These are all instances which are narrated in the laws where you get a gratuity, but you get a gratuity provided if you have completed 5 years.
So why we are reading the gratuity whereas we are discussing about the code on wages?
Sir, that's a very good question. In fact, say when you consider, when HR person negotiates something with the people, they load gratuity as well. So in other terms, CTC में gratuity भी आता है.
जी.
But CTC and gross, two words being used by HR friends, are not identified by the lawmakers. So what is identified? I know you'll have what question.
Yes.
So what equates with the gross and CTC is all remuneration. Now let me go to the first paragraph.
Sir, before
Of
you go,
means.
मैं अपनी ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूंगा कि ये ग्रेचुटी लीव इनकैशमेंट बोनस जो हम बातें कर रहे हैं ये हम सीटीसी को कैसे रिस्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हैं डेफिनेशन ऑफ वेजेस पे कि उसके लिए किए जा रही है ताकि जब आप सीटीसी फॉर्म करें तो उसमें 50% आपको क्या रखना है और 50% क्या नहीं रखना है. तो क्या रखना है अभी हम वो बात करें. अदर 50% जो कि वेजेस की डेफिनेशन के opposite है.
Yes, sir, you have raised a very good question. In fact, for the person who are HR people to equate their HR fundamentals to the fundamentals of how the definition of wages is designed. So it is everything that HR person does reflects here in the definition of wages. This is how the word any and or is used to encompass creating an umbrella where whatever you have will get fitted into this.
Definition of wages we will have HR definition of wages में basic retaining allowance और
that is first.
उसके बाद जो भी चीजें हैं वो definition of wages के बाहर है.
बाहर. Abhi now let us come to the gratuity payable on termination of employee. So how the gratuity is being paid to people on termination of employee? For example, when I make a CTC, I do say 500 rupees on your gratuity. This is what I have loaded. Number one. Number two is when my gratuity is insured. I pay insurance to the company. Whatever amount that I have paid to insurance, that can be factored here. I don't know how HR people, they factor the premium of gratuity into, like you take an example of Andhra Pradesh has done these particular, amendment way back 20 years. So how these people is a matter of study and then how it has to be factored. If you refer to section 4 of 5, subsection 5 of 4, you can pay gratuity on a better terms than what the payment of gratuity says. They are all part of this gratuity. And this is how it is written, any gratuity paid. What is the meaning of any gratuity? There cannot be any gratuity. But we have, done a lot of invention in the gratuity.
There is only one gratuity.
It's only one gratuity which is payable after 5 years.
Yes.
But, gratuity is payable. There are many examples of it is being factored in CTC. So all those components are being considered for the purpose of understanding wages definition. I think I've replied to your question. Now, what I would like to highlight to the friends is that if you total the first one is 3 components. That is basic DA and retaining allowance. The second is 9 allowances. So it is making 9 plus 3 is 12. And the last one is gratuity and retirement compensation. So 14 components basically are part of wages definition. Let people digest like this. If they don't agree, I'll be very happy if somebody is not agreeing to my reading of this, and they can have their own conceptual clarity and legal conceptual clarity consulting, a few more experts, and then
that's why we have a disclaimer that this is a training session or a consultation program.
This is actually we're trying to learn through, learn through what is written there in articulation. Okay, देखो India में there are 800 districts and each district has labor code tribunals and they all have their understanding and including that of High Court. So there are no the interpretation of law. Hope you agree with me, sir, yes, with all the background and all that. Number one. Number two is I am not the last person to tell you what is what. You can have more consultation. You can develop your legal conceptual clarity to clarity for the purpose of making the transformation easy. You see, what government is saying is RPT. I'm sure you must be knowing what RPT is. RPT stands for reform, perform, and transform. So finally, the result area is the transformation of how do I perform based on the reformed platform, and then I do a transformation. Hope people, friends, they are all agreeing with me. Okay, I can see there are many responses coming. They are raising thumbs, so that gives me a slightly different.
People are putting
Correct. So, sir, if we are through, let me go to the fourth part of it. Why I'm investing so much time is the most difficult part of the wages code. I think we should go to the fourth one. Now, fourth one says that provided that calculated wages under this clause, if payments made by employer to employee, clause A2 exceeds 1.5. What is 1.5? 1.5 is specifically 50%. Now, irrespective, what are the names of the component? Now, what is becoming important is the percentage. So, you asked me a question just 10-15 minutes before that what is important? Is that a component? That's what you said. So, now interpretation switching over from components to percentage. Okay. So, now what is important is the 50%. I think people have understood. Exceeds 1.5. 1.5 of what? 1.5 of all remuneration. Then remaining part of a 50% should get transformed to the first three components, of which one you don't have retaining allowance.
Exactly.
So many of the companies, they don't have even DA. So the only option left out to you is to switch over to go to basic.
DAs for
it is otherwise very simple. I think there are no confusions in that, provided if the aage likha hai, or as may be notified by the central government, which is yet to come. So let it come and then we will have rediscussion on this.
Right.
So what is important is A to I, agar 50% of all remuneration se exceed hota hai, then it has to go to basic first component, which is three components. Hope we are not running short of time.
No.
Okay, you can interrupt me anytime.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
So, and let us see if the questions have come responding.
One common question which I come across from my fellow people and my clients, that can we pay gratuity and leave encashment and bonus on monthly basis to employees so that it can justify their CTC as well?
Sir, leave encashment ka ek cap hai which you have to give 30 leave. Okay, so 30 leave ke baad, within the purview of 30, if it exceeds, then you have to encash in the next subsequent financial, the calendar year.
Right, sir.
Okay, so you do it, so there are no questions of encashing leave every month. I think that would not be a right fashion because it increases the work of
so वैसे भी जैसे वो फैक्ट्री एक्ट की जो डेफिनेशन थी पुरानी, जिसमें 240 दिन के अगेंस्ट पहले हम देते थे
सर, वो
अब वो 180 डेज के अगेंस्ट.
सर, इसमें क्या है, दिस इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली एन HR challenge. I very strongly believe that implementing new labor code requires, specifically I believe that it requires HR competencies. Now, when you have already 240, lower down to 180, the notional impact of these particular number games will increase the absenteeism. And it is your and my duty and implementers' duty to control absenteeism.
ऑडियंस को मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि पहले 240 दिन की वर्किंग के बाद एलिजिबल होते थे,
अभी 180 हो गया था.
अब वो 180 हो गया, जहां पे 20 वर्किंग डेज के अगेंस्ट एक लीव हमें एम्प्लॉय को एज अर्न लीव देनी है.
हाँ, देनी है.
वो अवेल करे या उसको कैश करे, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट पार्ट. सर,
इसमें एक चीज लिखा है ऑन डिमांड. अगर तो वर्कर को डिमांड करना है that he has to encash. Correct me if I'm wrong. Audience can have, you can have different ideas compared to what I'm trying to tell you. So there are no the interpretation. What I'm trying to tell you is trying to read the articulation, then try to have a debate and inviting questions if people have.
Sir,
so that
जो मैंने पहले आपसे किया था,
ये जरा सुनो ना, we just call him here. This screen is not moving.
Sir, he has the access to the screen. He will move it for you.
Okay. I've done it. It is done.
He will move it. Sir, मैं अपने पुराने क्वेश्चंस पे आ रहा हूँ, जो मैं बात कर रहे थे कि ग्रेचुटी, लीव एनकैशमेंट और बोनस जो है, अगर हम मंथली बेसिस पे पे कर सकते हैं जैसे कि आपने बोला कि कर सकते हैं।
सर
तो हम इस पे
ग्रेजुएटी
प्रोविडेंट फंड है और ईएसआई फॉर क्या वो एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा?
Sir, gratuity is always paid on the last earned wages. If you pay gratuity on a monthly basis, the person is deprived of benefits. So it is otherwise not advisable to pay gratuity per month. क्योंकि अगर मैं 5 साल काम करूंगा तो मेरा वेजेस आज जो है 5 साल के बाद शायद डबल हो सकता है, तो ग्रेजुइटी डबल हो जाएगी। तो इट इज बेटर टू पे एट द एंड ऑफ द सर्विसेज।
सिर्फ मंथली जो हम उसकी कैलकुलेशन फिर कैसे करेंगे अगर हम?
सर वो इट इज ओनली फैक्टरिंग, इट इज ओनली फैक्टरिंग, सो दैट यू आर ट्राइंग टू लोड सर्टेन अमाउंट कि मेरा एक्चुअल बर्डन क्या होगा। It is not to be paid. I believe that.
पे नहीं करना है।
पे नहीं करना है। ग्रेजुएटी का पेमेंट सर 5 साल के पहले नहीं ही करना है एक्सेप्ट फिक्स्ड टर्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट। फिक्स्ड टर्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट का जो अभी प्रावधान है उसमें इट इज 1 year completed. Okay. So gratuity becomes payable only after 5 years.
बिल्कुल ठीक है।
So pay after only 5 years except fixed term employee. You can load it for the purpose of understanding financial implication. You can do it.
पर सर अगर हमने लोड कर दिया, फैक्टरिंग कर दी है और बाद में एम्प्लॉय ने 5 साल कंप्लीट ही नहीं किए,
तो then it is a loading, it is a financial
तो
purpose.
वो हमें
not
पे करनी
to be
है,
paid. Yes.
पे करनी है फिर।
No, pay नहीं
Even though the employee has not completed 5 years of service.
But sir, आपने उसको लिख के दिया है that if I'll pay you 1,000 rupees gratuity per month, which is over and above, which is over and above what law says. Then you refer again to section 4 of subsection 5. Anything paid beyond the legal limit, then it is to be paid because you have committed him. Which is a better term than what gratuity है।
बहुत सारी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज हैं, वो जब सीटीसी को डिजाइन करती हैं और अपने अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर में दे देती हैं स्ट्रक्चर पूरा, वहां पे वो सीटीसी में ग्रेजुएटी डालती है।
लिख के दिया है क्या?
हाँ, लिख के दिया है, बट जब एम्प्लॉय छोड़ता है वो 5 years सर्विस से पहले, तो उसको वो पे आउट नहीं करती है।
Sir, take specific opinion on this. I am ready to help you out to restructure the design that you have made.
Got that.
Okay.
ठीक है।
But to me, if you have committed somebody XYZ amount, I am saying XYZ amount, then you are supposed to pay. It is a better term than what gratuity say. When you have committed somebody that even if you have completed a lesser year of service as enumerated by POGA, that is less than 5 years, अगर आपने मंथली कमिट किया तो देना पड़ेगा।
तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आपने सीटीसी का पार्ट बना के ग्रेजुएटी को नए लेबर कोड्स में उसको रिफॉर्म कर दिया स्ट्रक्चर, और आपने ग्रेजुएटी को उसमें दिखाया है, तो अगर एम्प्लॉय की 5 year सर्विस कंप्लीट नहीं भी होती है तब भी आपको यू नीड टू पे दैट अमाउंट एट द टाइम व्हेन द एम्प्लॉयर रिजाइन्स।
Sir, I have a suggestion here. That let me study how it is committed to employee.
Yes.
If I complete my study, I can give you better suggestions and better way out to how do we factor and how do we make employee happy.
Right.
Okay. So let us go to the next. Should we go to that? Do you have any
please.
question on the A2I and 50%?
Not as of now. Mostly the questions are, I have already put it to you.
I think, okay. So we'll go to the 5th one. What I have done is, ये पूरा जो wages का definition उसको मैंने 5 parts में बांट दिया है for the purpose of conceptualizing each paragraph in a right fashion. Now we'll go to the 5th one. What 5th one says is equal opportunity employment. We are all equal opportunity, whether it's a male, female or transgender now. So what it says is D, F, G, H has to be equally computed when you look at the components from A to I.
जी.
There has to be like man is working and a female is working overtime, तो सही मिलेगा उसको बाकी के components performance का जो वगैरह वगैरह है, तो 4 components no, तो there has to be equal opportunity for male, female and transgender. This is what the meaning of the 5th bullet, which you can see there on the screen. Any question, we are very happy to respond back to you, and Mr. Harpreet will read the input that is given to him, and then we will have a deliberation on, and we'll try to give the best answer which we understand. Okay, so we'll go to the 6th one. Where employee is given in lieu part of any wages kind to employees such remuneration exceed 15%. कई कंपनी में there are many things which are given in kind. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सोडेक्सो कूपन, ठीक है, फिर आपको मिलता है दिवाली में गिफ्ट मिलता है, बर्थडे वगैरह वगैरह, वो आपका इन्वेंट्री आप देख लें, वॉट एवर इज गिवन टू एम्प्लॉइज इन काइंड, द कैप इज 15%.
15% of what?
15% of a total
100%?
15% of all remuneration.
All remunerations
The first,
which are exempted
Yes.
Apart from the 50% of the wage of wage.
Yes.
definition.
So 50% is the cap amongst all 14 components.
Okay.
So आप 15% kind में दे सकते हैं, not about this. This is what the message which is given to the implementers.
But sir, ये 15% क्यों? मतलब क्या सोच के इन्होंने?
I don't know, sir. इसमें कुछ
11 कम भी हो सकता है.
sir, इसमें क्या है, sir? There must be certain practices where 20%, 30% things are given. Okay. So to curtail those practices and convert that into an actual flow of money. This cap is, according to me, is put 15% के ऊपर नहीं जाना है. अगर जाते हैं तो let us see how the structure is designed, and then we can give a different opinion.
Let's go back again to the definition of
the first one. So अभी क्या मतलब हुआ, गुरप्रीत आपने बहुत अच्छा बताया सर कि आपको we should go to the first this thing. Now what is the meaning of wages? तो इसको थोड़ा scroll करके देंगे मुझे. इसको थोड़ा scroll करके देंगे so that I can हाँ वो बात नहीं, इसको थोड़ा scroll करके हेलो थोड़ा नीचे लेके आएंगे तो then हाँ yes. So what is important is wages.
Screen one, please. Screen one. Like.
हाँ screen one. Wages means all remuneration. देखो इधर CTC और gross word आपको meaning में कहीं दिखेगा नहीं. So what is important is means all what is all remuneration? To me, why I have skipped this and made the last paragraph is to first understand 14 components and then understand what is all remuneration.
Just for the humor purpose, I am done with my coffee or is lying over there.
Then I'll take my okay, I'll do that. So what is all remuneration in terms of numbers? I would let me clarify this way that in terms of numbers, all remuneration is not more than 14. Okay. And I know there are friends who are raising questions saying that can we go beyond 14? My personal advice and my personal suggestion is never travel beyond 14. There could be a litigation for you if you travel beyond 14. Because it may get construed as splitting and bifurcation of wages. यहाँ पे कहीं ऐसा नहीं लिखा है any other. These word is not used. So whatever structure you are restructuring has to be within the limits of 14% number one. If you move to 15, 16, 17, 18 components, वो 50% का फॉर्मूला उधर फिट नहीं होगा, वो आप कैलकुलेशन करके देख लें.
तो जब हम सीटीसी डिजाइन करते हैं तो उसमें एम्प्लॉयर का जो प्रोविडेंट फंड का पोर्शन है, एम्प्लॉयर का ईएसआई का पोर्शन है, लेबर वेलफेयर फंड है, तो वो हम इंक्लूड करते हैं. तो क्या हम जो रेस्ट ऑफ द 50% है जहाँ पे लिस्ट है एचआरए, कन्वेंस लॉस, अदर ओटी लॉस एटसेट्रा, क्या हम ये कंपोनेंट जो 2-3 है पीएफ का पोर्शन एम्प्लॉयर का, ईएसआई का पोर्शन एम्प्लॉयर का, इसमें डाल सकते हैं?
सर पीएफ का पोर्शन इज ऑलरेडी देयर.
ओके,
इट इज ऑलरेडी देयर. व्हाट इज नॉट देयर इज ईएसआई एंड प्रोफेशन टैक्स. ईएसआई ना आपने दूसरा बताया, प्रोफेशन टैक्स वगैरह जो भी है
जी,
तो वो द लॉ इज साइलेंट ऑन दैट. सो दैट इज एडिशनल टू व्हाट यू आर सेइंग. So that will remain there. There could be many other, legal components for which the law is silent on. So let us remain. We also will let us remain silent on that.
Okay.
Number one, if you want to add that ESIC, the number is very negligible. It is 3.some%.
3.25%.
तो amount बहुत negligible है. Why to invite unwanted interpretation by incorporating ESI in the A2I?
सर पर
I would not
एक एम्प्लॉय की अगर बात करें जिसकी सैलरी 42,000 है और उसकी 21,000 बेसिक में चलेगी और 21,000 रेस्ट ऑफ द कंपोनेंट्स में आ गई.
Correct.
अब वो 21,000 का जो 600 रुपीज 3.25 बनता है. अब ये तो चलो एक एम्प्लॉय का हम मान लेते हैं 600 समथिंग कैन बी मैनेजेबल, बट व्हेन यू हैव 1000 एम्प्लॉइज and you multiply that 635 with 1,000 and it goes up to 6 lakh or 7 lakh of figure.
Yes.
Then we need to rethink whether we adjusted it or not.
That's correct. You have raised a very, very important concern on ESIC remittance, but it is not a part of definition. So what we are supposed to look at, play within the periphery of what law says.
डेफिनेशन
Let
जब
us
हम
not-
बात करते हैं हम फिर वही 50% की बात करते हैं
Correct,
जो
sir. Yes,
बेसिक
yes.
डीए और आरए है। आप
हाँ।
कंफ्यूज मत होना कि 100% पे।
Yes, yes, yes. So what is important is all those components which are otherwise driven by different laws, which is not part of A to I, let it remain outside.
जी
Let us not focus on them for only 3.25%. Let us not invite unwanted confusions to make sure that ये पूरा disturb हो गया. So any other question or I'll go ahead. All remuneration, whether by way of salaries, देखो इसमें तीन words use किया है. So salary and wages, though it is different from HR people, it is one. Now, allowances is what? Which is in addition to salary, there are allowances. And otherwise encompasses almost everything which does not fall in salary and allowance. So wages का मतलब 3 components में 100% हो गया. That is what is the meaning of wages. देखो first word क्या है? Wages means all remuneration. Now we'll go to the next one. Expressed in terms of money or capable of being so expressed. What is capable of being so expressed? आपने बहुत सही सवाल पूछा था. Something which is paid in kind, which is otherwise money only.
एग्जैक्टली
But it is not money. But it can be expressed in terms of money. So this is what exactly meaning of expressed in terms of money. And what you say is 50% cap has a lot of connect to what these verdicts are. Should we go to the next?
सर आई बिलीव कोड ऑन वेजेस में जो डेफिनेशन है हमारी ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट हो गई है।
Yes.
अब हम
So other things are I think very easy for anyone to understand after having digested what is 1, 2, 3, A to I and gratuity and retrenchment combined.
सर कुछ क्वेश्चन है हम
हाँ,
उसमें
please,
move
please,
करते
sir,
हैं।
please,
सर क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि जो नई कोड ऑन वेजेस है इसके हिसाब से हमें जो पेमेंट्स करनी है मंथली एम्प्लॉयज को, वीकली एम्प्लॉयज को, डेली एम्प्लॉयज को, वो कब और कितने टाइम पीरियड में करनी है?
सर इसका है ना डेली वेजेस का तो एवरी डे देना है
जी
वीकली वाले का वेरी नेक्स्ट डे देना है 15 डेज वाले को वेरी नेक्स्ट डे देना है
जी
और मंथली वाले को 7th तक देना
बिफोर 7th
बिफोर
Before
और ऑन 7th
जी
I'll tell you I've seen many companies who are paying salaries on 4th 5th 6th as well in absence of having not implemented labor code कई कंपनियां देती हैं सर सो इट इज नॉट अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क फॉर समबडी टू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कॉम्प एंड बैन एंड पे पीपल बिफोर 7th नाउ द क्वेश्चन हियर इज व्हाट देखो ये पूरा डिस्कशन में हमने अभी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर के ऊपर फोकस नहीं किया है because that's a gray area. The interpretation of law with respect to 1, 2, 3, A to I and gratuity and retrenchment will be completely different when we talk about contract labor.
सर एक जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर में ना बड़ी प्रैक्टिकल सी प्रॉब्लम आती है कि भी प्रिंसिपल एम्प्लॉयर ने अपने काम को आउटसोर्स कर दिया, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ने अपना बिल पेश किया, बिल का पैसा लिया, सैलरी आगे नहीं दी, और जिस केस में जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्कर्स हैं वो पनिश हो रहे हैं अननेसेसरली। सो एक्चुअल में इस पे रिस्पांसिबिलिटी किसकी आती है पे आउट करने की?
Sir, let me start my explanation slightly different way. When you enter into a contract with a contractor, have you highlighted this situation? And in case if you don't, if you fail to pay, what should happen? Take a bank guarantee, take an advance, there are multiple options where something can be mentioned in the contract that you arrive at with the contractor. The answer number 1. Answer number 2 is the law says that it is you supposed to pay and recover from the contractor. This is what the law says.
Right.
And therefore, in the Contract Labor Act, it is written that the payment has to be made in presence of a representative of a principal employer, number 1.
Right.
Number 2, in a code, it is written that let contractor pay and intimate it to HR. This is what the difference is. Now, all those who are handling contract labor, do they have contract labor manual? This is what my first S says. Is it systematic?
Right.
For example, you have given very good question of which I can give you 5 more answers, but the time paucity is there.
Yes.
The reason being, if the contractor fails first month, second month, third month, what modus operandi you have built in the contract per se to make sure that the people are paid in right time.
जी
देखो फाइनली करना क्या है, लोगों को पैसा तो टाइम पे मिलना चाहिए. दिस इज द प्रावधान, दिस इज द प्रोविजन ऑफ लॉ. and it is you and me and all my friends, stakeholders of the contract labor, is supposed to make sure that the payment is made to people in time.
Ji.
With whatever is the modus operandi you agree, whether you put it into a contract, where you convert that into bank guarantee, whether you pay it from your pocket and recover, there are multiple options through which the payment can be made.
Sir, is this acceptable or okay for a principal employer to pay the wages to the contractor workers
Yes.
from his account
Yes.
and settle down the
Yes, it is a mandatory requirement as per the law. The
Okay.
law speaks like this, that in case if it is not paid to contract labor, the principal are supposed to pay and recover from the contract.
But in case this is not a part of the contract and I want to pay it to the
The law says this, no? Law says you abide by law, you follow the law, and the law says that आप उसको payment करके contractor से recover
contractor
कर लो.
के और bill में adjust करें.
Sir, you have very good question centered around the contractor. I'm extrapolating the question that you have. What happens when subcontractor 1, 2, 3, 4 does not pay? So if your administration is very powerful, you can reach even to the subcontractor fifth as well.
Yes.
Okay. Now take an example for non-payment of wages to contract labor. There how many IR situations have come up? I know there are many examples where because of non-payment, underpayment, arrears payment, there are 10 different types of payments centered around only wages which are not paid, and the situation has become worse. Their examples are live. Okay, there are few examples which has happened in last 1 year or maybe 2 years. You can take cognizance of that. This is only because people are not paid in time.
Right.
Though the law says, though it is enumerated in the contract with the contractor, what is implementer is, go back to the title which I have made. It is implementer's perspective. The law says आपको pay करना है, contract says pay करना है, but actually payment नहीं हो रहा है. So this is an administration which should be made powerful by the implementer. And who are implementers? It is you and me supposed to make sure that provoking all the any other question that has
come.
Sir,
question है कि what about in case the company is going through some financial crunches and the company is sick and is not able to pay by 7th? What are the repercussions in terms of penalties or?
There are so many repercussions, and incapacity of financial incapacity of employer is not an excuse for payment to contract. It has to be paid because he has worked for you.
But I don't have money. How?
That is the business. That is
I can pay it on 10th or 15th.
Sir, you can do it, but you will invite the litigation. If you are ready to find out,
it better I should shut off my operations and
so that is a business
leave
call.
the people.
That's a business call. If you're not in a position to sustain your business
But I can pay it after 3 days or 4 days.
Sir, you can do it. I have no issues. But there are penalties and there are litigation. So if you are equipped with those kind of risk, then you can go ahead. I want advice. Number one. Number two is these kind of incapacity of paying to people is not sudden. Every company does their financial forecast on a monthly basis. So you can do a provision that next month I am supposed to pay X amount to contract labor. So make a provision. Give first importance to people, and then this is what new labor code says. It's completely centered around employee and the worker.
Right, sir.
I hope I have clarified the questions that you
Sir, अभी हमें जो ESI pay करना है, वो 50% पे करना है कि 100% पे करना है?
Sir, this subject is the talk of a town, and there are no the answer to this. But I'll see how best.
This is the question here.
Sir, this is the question. I know I've been facing this. This is even true for PF as well. Okay. So there are no the answers. The reason being, उसमें दो जवाब हैं sir इसके. In case if you start adhering to new labor code, who stops? I know so you'll have some limitations, clarity of thought, clarity of rules, regulations, bylaws, वगैरह ये होगा. But after all difficulties, if you start administering, then you have a zero risk. That is an answer to this. Number one. Number two, if you don't follow, okay, and if there are breaches in administration of a labor law, and if you invite litigation, then are you prepared for the risk? The answer is there with you.
Sir.
Number three, let me give you one more answer. Let me study your structure of, payments and remittance and all. I think I'll be able to guide you. Number fourth is across whomsoever I've interacted with, they don't have an answer on this. They have an answer, but are not ready to put it in writing, saying that you go to north or south.
सर कुछ दिन पहले की बात मैं आपसे शेयर करता हूँ. मैं
जी.
प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ पंजाब में, और मेरे क्लाइंट दिल्ली में भी हैं और हरियाणा में भी हैं.
Yes.
ESI अथॉरिटीज हमें अप्रोच करती है पंजाब में कि आपके जो क्लाइंट्स हैं उनके नंबर ऑफ ESI कवरेज है वो बढ़ी नहीं. तो मैंने उनको बोला कि अभी सर हम वेट कर रहे हैं आपके रूल्स के आने का, सो दैट वी कैन डू दैट. तो उन्होंने बोला कि लॉ तो एप्लीकेबल हो गया, आप इसको एप्लीकेबल कर दो कि आप जितने भी सैलरीज 42,000 तक की हैं उनके 50% वेजेस पे इसको कंप्लाइंस कर दो
सर.
अकॉर्डिंगली हमने कर दिया.
वेरी गुड सर. दैट्स
जब मैं मूव किया अपने क्लाइंट पे, वहां पे जब मैंने ESI अथॉरिटीज से बात की, वो कहते हैं अभी आप रुको. और सिमिलर इट वाज हैपनिंग इन मुंबई एज वेल. मुंबई वालों ने भी एप्लीकेबल कर दिया, दिल्ली वालों ने नहीं किया, हरियाणा वालों ने नहीं किया. अब मैं एज अ कंसल्टेंट एक स्टेट में कर रहा हूँ, दूसरी में नहीं कर रहा हूँ, तीसरी और चौथी में कर रहा हूँ. तो क्या ये सही प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ मैं, और मुझे क्या करना चाहिए इस केस में?
No, the answer to the plot that you have raised, but after studying what you are doing in detail, I can give you some input.
जी.
Okay. And as you know, this is a platform where we are trying to share our views.
Exactly.
And this is a training platform and not a consulting
Not a
platform.
consulting.
So,
Yes.
you know, giving you the answer, I think this is let me study and then I'll give you. Because whomsoever I have interacted with, they say abhi repealing period chal raha hai, and the old laws will continue. I don't know. We need to study and conclude as to what should be done.
जब अथॉरिटीज फोर्स करेगी फिर तो हमें करना पड़ेगा.
Sir, let us see how what happens is, but there are no the answers to what you're saying.
Right.
And I can help you out after studying what you're doing in detail. Just by raising one question, I cannot give you prescription that aap aisa karo.
Right.
I mean, that's not the right equation to do that.
Right, sir, right.
Okay.
तो हमने अभी तक सर कोड ऑन वेजेस पे डेफिनेशन हमने कवर कर ली है, और हमने नया स्ट्रक्चर कैसे करना है उसको भी कर लिया है.
Yes.
जो है एम्प्लॉयर और एम्प्लॉई पे कैसे आएगा ये भी डिस्कस हो गया हमारे इस पार्ट में.
Yes. Left out is.
और लास्ट जो हमने CLRA में भी जो हमने डिस्कस कर लिया है कि भाई उसके ऊपर कैसे इम्पैक्ट आएगा PF और ESI का. हाँ, ये डिपेंड करता है कि आपका जो एग्रीमेंट इन कॉन्ट्रैक्टर किस तरह का है.
How it stipulates.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Sir, एक और क्वेश्चन लोगों के पास आ रहा है, that what is the difference, what is an understanding of core and non-core? So वो I think the people need a clarification of which I can give you a very short answer.
जी.
This is a question which I have been given before I came to this place, sir. ये पूरा रेस करके थोड़ा समझाना. देखो अभी जो सेक्शन 10 में लिखा है वो पेरेनियल का थोड़ा बहुत आर्टिकुलेशन लिखा है अंदर, बट उसमें नॉन पेरेनियल नहीं आता है. What is described is a perennial as against perennial as against perennial. Now what is new pravadhan? New provision is core versus non-core. Now it is very nicely clarified that all non-core 1311 activities ये पूरा enumerate कर दिया है law ने. So which are all the activities which will not fall in the core act. So if you are contracting it to a contractor on all those 13-14 activities, that is non-core. Rest of the others are all core. But section 57 or 56, I didn't exactly remember, prohibition of a contract labor. उसमें भी काफी कुछ पढ़ सकते हैं. Because of the paucity of a time, I will not be able to throw more light on, but it is otherwise very easy to understand and differentiate between core and a non-core activity, connecting that to a definition of manufacturing process. तो आप इसको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस का डेफिनेशन से कनेक्ट करेंगे तो कोर अपने आप समझ में आ जाएगा. राइट. बिकॉज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस में 52 एक्टिविटीज दिया है जिसको हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस बोल सकते हैं. You can dig more into this subject and arrive at a convenient understanding.
सर मेरे पास अभी 3 क्वेश्चंस हैं. I'm left with 3 questions only on code on wages. इसके बाद हम code on social security पे मूव करते हैं. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कि क्या हम मिनिमम वेजेस को बाइफरकेट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि कई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने नोटिफिकेशन की है कि अब मिनिमम वेज बाइफरकेट नहीं हो सकता, वो बेसिक ही रहेगा. ये पहला क्वेश्चन है. सर इस पे जरा आप मुझे बताइए. नॉट इन डिटेल, जस्ट
सर डिजाइनिंग. लेट मी गिव यू एन आंसर इन वन स्टेटमेंट.
जी.
The prerogative of designing minimum wages is the state government is an authority.
जी.
You think you are above state government? The answer is no. So you can't play with minimum wages.
Right.
It is very simple.
Right.
I would friendly advise never ever get into bifurcation and a splitting of wages. This is a dangerous equation.
Right.
Okay. So let it be more than 50% as well. The definition says 50% basic में होना चाहिए, बाकी का A to I में होना चाहिए. Even if it is 50 or more percentage, that minimum wages. So we'll continue with that. And whatever the financial implications that you have, find out different modus operandi which does not disturb the provision of law and you achieve your target.
Right.
But never ever get into splitting and bifurcation of wages. Many times, I know at least 20 judgments where the Supreme Court, High Court has said that, yeah, aisa mat karo. In the different language, the judiciary language that they have used, but it is not encouraged, it is rather discouraged to do that. I think I have answered your
सर दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है जिसका आंसर मैं ही देना चाहूंगा, बट आप मेरे को करेक्ट कीजिएगा अगर मैं गलत हूँ. क्या हम 50% से ज्यादा वेजेस को रख सकते हैं? मेरे हिसाब से वो रख सकते हैं. आप 60% भी कर सकते हैं, उसको 70% भी कर
सकते हैं.
That is your
answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Till the time you are not breaching the provisions of law, you are right. 51% is more than what law subscribes. Go to 52, 53, 54. Many companies are doing that.
As many as.
Yes, to make sure that you are a transparent employer, law-abiding employer. तो 5% अगर ज्यादा जाता है तो उसका न्यूट्रलाइजेशन कैसे करना is an HR and IR skill.
Right, sir.
वो कैसे करना? We can have a discussion on the separate discussion.
So last question is on code on wages. Performance-based incentive, can it be a part of wages?
Yes, sir. What is commission? Commission is paid on an extraordinary performance. For example, if I am supposed to sell 100 bottles, and if I am selling 110 bottles, that's a commission. And if you read the definition somewhere in the either I think in the Gratuity Act, this word of a commission is written commission or similar allowance. ऐसा कुछ लिखा है. Let me read the books and I'll come back to you after the exact articulation.
जी ठीक है.
तो commission and incentives for me is one and same.
Right, sir. ऑडियंस हमने टिल नाउ कोड ऑन वेजेस कवर कर लिया है और आपके मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस का हमने आंसर दे दिया है. नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस वर्कशॉप.
सर वन मोर इनपुट व्हिच आई वुड लाइक टू गिव यू इज, इतना डिस्कशन वेजेस के ऊपर करने के बाद इसका फैक्टरिंग बता सकते हैं क्या?
हाँ प्लीज.
इसका अगर इसको ये जो डेफिनेशन है ना साहब वेजेस का, इट्स गुड टू एक्सप्लेन, बट it is incomplete until and unless it is connected to money per se, because all remuneration is what? Wages is what? Salary is what? Allowances is what? It is money only.
Yes.
So if it is connected to money, I think audience will get a better understanding.
Exactly.
Of how
easy है, financial related है तो
financial related.
क्या components of factoring कर सकते हैं, please sir.
Give me 1-2 minutes. I'll open my laptop. I think I have done some. I think I have done some homework and I'll be able to. Any feedback from audiences?
Not as of now. Yes, people are appreciating your views and
okay. ये थोड़ा पकड़ के रखो.
Answers which you have given.
Okay. So what I'll do is I have done some factoring. In fact, you'll agree with me, and getting into more details of each component connected to money.
For the audience, we have just covered with the code on wages, and those who have questions related to code on social security and OSH, that would be answered later on.
Sir, I have one. You can reach it to audience. Any difference of opinion, I'll be very happy to understand.
Right, sir.
I think you agreeing to me is very good thing. But any person who is saying no, I have a different views, I'll be very happy to understand their views. The reason being, my views are not last views. My opinions are not last opinion. I am not an advocate. I am not, the same. I am an implementer. So मेरी दिक्कतें ज़्यादा है. So based on what difficulties I have faced in all the years that I have put in, ये मैंने explanation उसको center में रख के आपको दिया है.
Right, sir.
This is what an implementer's perspective, which is the title which I have shared with the friends.
Audience को मैं ये भी बताना चाहूँगा कि ये हो सकता है कि we are flooded with the questions और सब questions के answer नहीं दिए जा सकते. But जो questions more relevant हैं, जो इन code से related है, हम उनके answer आपको जरूर देने की कोशिश करेंगे. और अगर कोई क्वेश्चन रह जाते हैं वो आप हमें हमारी ईमेल पे.
सर ये जो फाइल है इसको यहाँ कैसे लोड करें ये देखो जरा. तो वो हम क्या कर सकते हैं सर, व्हाट वी कैन डू इज आई विल शो यू हाउ दिस इज कनेक्टेड टू न्यूमेरिकल्स.
जी.
ओके, दैट आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू शेयर विद सर. आपको मैंने एक फाइल भेजा, इफ यू कैन फॉरवर्ड इट टू हिम.
आपने मेरे को व्हाट्सएप पे भेजा?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी. So I've done some homework in the past. I think audience will be very happy to see how numbers influences the interpretation of law.
जी.
क्योंकि सर हर एक कंपोनेंट में पैसा इनबिल्ट है.
जी.
And without you factoring money to each component, interpretation ठीक ज्यादा होगा मुझे लगता है. If we connect that to the factoring of money, some homework which I have done, ये मैं कहाँ फॉरवर्ड करूं सर? तो आप मुझे
सर मैं आपके जो 14 कंपोनेंट्स हैं वो शेयर इनसे कर रहा हूँ.
हाँ, so that we can show it on the screen.
Within few minutes ये हमें
Yes.
ये शेयर कर देंगे स्क्रीन.
Yes. People, friends who are audience can, take a photo of this, convert that into an Excel sheet and, raise questions, queries, and more interested is differences with me.
जी, ये मैंने
I
आपको
would
शेयर
like
कर दिया. आप स्क्रीन पे प्लीज रिफ्लेक्ट.
Sir, I would like to settle first the differences, not that whatever I am saying is correct.
जी.
So let us not get
नहीं
into.
सर, हम आपको वहां पे रोक देंगे जहाँ पे हमें लगेगा कि
Sir,
हमें
please,
डिफरेंसेस
please.
हैं हमारे और आपके ओपिनियन में.
Sir, let us settle differences. That gives you a provoke to develop a legal conceptual clarity. देखो conceptual clarity तो सबका होता है, मुझे मालूम है.
जी.
But when you connect your conceptual clarity to law, then कहीं आपको थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा व्यू लेके उसको रिफाइन करना पड़ता है. फॉर दैट लेट मी शेयर द एक्सेल शीट व्हिच आई हैव shared with you.
मैंने शेयर कर
So
दिया.
what I have done, friends, is we have 14 components. You know it well. So each component I have converted into an Excel sheet. When you read that, I think you can derive a different meaning out of it. So what I've done is the column number C, if you can see. Can we see that on the screen? Okay,
Yes.
Sir, are you getting any
They are
questions?
waiting for the receipt of the file.
Sir, are you getting any other questions so that by the time it is loaded, we can.
बिल्कुल. सर क्वेश्चन ये है कि कोड ऑन वेजेस क्या गिग वर्कर्स के ऊपर भी एप्लीकेबल है?
Sir, code on wages is applicable to whole of unorganized worker, but how this will be administered, let us wait for some time.
Okay.
Gig workers, platform workers, if you see if you read the social security code, there are 12 different types of workers का उसमें enumeration है. Gig worker, platform worker, home based worker वगैरह वगैरह.
जी.
तो 12 डेफिनेशन है. ये सब को वेजेस का डेफिनेशन लागू होगा. The reason being same definition is there in social security code as well.
Sir, आपकी वो Excel sheet जो है वो.
हाँ, now that we can see, थोड़ा size बड़ा कर दो उसका. ये this is what I can see. It is there on my screen. Okay. So friends, you can see column C, जिसमें मैंने लिखा है 1, 2, 3. Now 1, 2, 3 के सामने
ब्लू में जो है 1, 2, 3.
हाँ, ये जो ब्लू में लिखा है, डार्क ब्लू में जो लिखा है. जी. तो वो 1, 2, 3 है, उसके सामने लिखा है बेसिक डीए एंड रिटेनिंग अलाउंस इन द कॉलम आई. ठीक है. सो आप लिख दीजिए कॉलम जे में ये सब, मान लो ये सब 10,000 है, बेसिक 10,000 है, बेसिक डीए 10,000, रिटेनिंग अलाउंस 10,000. नाउ यू फैक्टर ऑल कंपोनेंट्स पुटिंग 10,000 अगेंस्ट इट इन द कॉलम जे. I know I am asking you to do some homework. This is how I think we should make it interactive. Okay. Now, when you load 10,000 against each component, this will become better for you to factor 50%. जी. Okay. तो 50% कहाँ पे बढ़ रहा है? Likewise, if you look at column D, and I have highlighted in the yellow this thing A to I. Okay. So A to I is from 4 to 12. That is 9 components.
Column D में जो है.
Column D में जो है. ठीक है. आप इसको सर प्रोग्रामिंग में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. Because I am not expert in programming.
हम कर लेंगे सर.
हम use Excel sheet. And now if you see, look at column F, J and K is there. Okay. Now the next one is 50% basic, 50% too basic. ये लिखा है specifically. That means if you refer to column F, whatever is the total of A to I, If it is more than 50% of all remuneration, उसको हमें A1 रोमन 1, 2 और 3 में डालना है.
वो अगर इससे 50% बढ़ता है तो हमें बैक टू उसमें डालना है.
ऊपर डालना है.
अगर 65% बन रहा है तो 50 यहाँ रख के 15% वापस उसमें डालना पड़ेगा.
ऊपर डालना है सर. Very right. Your understanding is perfectly right. Now what I am supposed to do is, now there has to be a balance between 1, 2, 3 and A to I.
Sir,
And that balance has to be 50-50.
सर अगर 65 है तो दैट मींस 15% बढ़ा, 15 का 7.5% हमने ऊपर डाला,
ऊपर डाला
तो 7.5 वहीं पे रहेगा.
अभी नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन शुड बी कि अगर मैंने 65,000 में से 15,000 बेसिक डीए रिटेनिंग अलाउंस में डाला है, तो मेरे 65,000 में से 15,000 कम हो गए.
हाँ,
परफेक्टली राइट. तो मुझे ये ए टू आई कंपोनेंट में से कहीं ना कहीं 15,000 एडजस्ट करने पड़े.
राइट.
हाउ टू रिड्यूस? बिकॉज आई एम इंक्रीजिंग इन 1, 2, 3. That balance is to be smartly created depending upon how people react to it.
तो वो किसमें करना है वो?
Sir, वो it is a time-consuming job. In fact, what I have done is I have explained you things in 1.5 hours, but it's a one full day job. And let us understand the perception of people to understand how they have digested this.
Sir, यहाँ पे आपने एक लिखा है value of HA. HA कैसे?
It is value of house accommodation. ये light वगैरह जो आपको security.
HRA same है क्या?
नहीं, this is a different. You see, there are companies that are having colony. तो कॉलोनी में आपका सिक्योरिटी रहेगा, आपको वाईफाई दिया है, आपको केबल टीवी दिया है, आपको मेडिकल असिस्टेंस मिलता है, आपको गार्डन वगैरह है. You get lot of protection. You got dispensary, you got sports club.
तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि मैंने अगर एज एन एम्प्लॉयर इसको किसी भी बंदे को अपने दिया, एक हाउस दिया है कंपनी के अंदर ही, उसकी जो टोटल कॉस्ट है वो हाउस अलाउंस आ जाएगा.
सर जैसे आपने मुझे एम्प्लॉय किया, आपने बोला हम आपको 1 लाख रुपया देंगे, बट आप बोलेंगे यार मैंने आपका मकान आपके लिए किराए पे लिया है, तो उसका तो 20,000 होता है.
Right.
तो यू आर ऑलरेडी फैक्टरिंग दैट. द लॉ इज नॉट टेलिंग यू समथिंग न्यू व्हिच यू आर डूइंग. यू आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग, यू आर ऑलरेडी फैक्टरिंग 20,000 फॉर, you take house on rent for me and then you give it to me. So that amount you are supposed to factor is a part of the HR funda of CTC.
Sir, HRA भी सिर्फ दे सकते हैं साथ में?
दे सकते हैं सर. There are companies who are giving both, more liberal. अगर नहीं देती है तो वहां 0 कर देना. ठीक है. तो ये ऐसा नहीं है सर कि मुझे A to I हर एक कंपोनेंट देना है, इसमें से कुछ कंपोनेंट नहीं रहेंगे. जैसे आपने देखा, there are 14 components, not necessarily all 14 components appear in all the companies.
जी.
There could be 13 components, 10, 5, 6. There are companies with only 5 components.
Right.
So my submission, my advice and my suggestion to friends is never ever travel beyond 14 components. You can play within 14 components. The reason being, everywhere any is written. Any or to encompass whatever component that you have near to A to I. This is what my understanding is. And in case if you need personal advice, of course we are there to understand your structure to convert to ATI. We will do that provided if we study that.
Right, sir.
The thing, the point which I want to highlight here is I don't have a knowledge of your structure. Okay, so for that purpose, sir, I have to study what your structure says, how best I fit into this. And this is how 50% has to be balanced.
Right, sir.
Otherwise, it is very simple. It's very simple. I understand कि इसमें कुछ भी complication नहीं है. So, and as you very rightly said, some companies are 51, 52, 53. That shows you are transparent and you are law abiding.
Exactly.
So let us do that. You can add 2-3 more percentage and demonstrate आप अच्छे employer हैं. So it is not only finance. It's supposed to take care of people first and then take care of finance.
Right, sir.
People will generate lot of revenue for you.
ठीक है सर.
सर इसमें और एक है, if you look at G column, I have mentioned 4 times G. That is gender specific. तो ये सब component gender specific होना मांगता है. So you cannot have a different conveyance allowance for ladies, gents and a transgender.
Of course, आने जाने में तो उतने ही पैसे खर्च.
सर आप घर में आप भी रहते हैं, लेडीज भी रहती है, तो HR तो दोनों का सेम ही रहेगा. And that you have to take into count when you load A to I. That is what the provision. So this is how it has to be done. Any other question, sir? Now, in case somebody has loaded 10,000 into each, the numerical factoring will help in better understanding. जैसे आपने, मैं आपको बताता हूँ, ये 14 components में आप अभी ग्रेजुइटी और रिटायरमेंट कंपनसेशन को निकाल देंगे तो 1,10,000 होगा, क्योंकि 11 कंपोनेंट हो जाएंगे
जी
ठीक है। तो 11 कंपोनेंट का टोटल कितना होगा? 1,10,000 इफ यू फैक्टर 10,000 एवरीवेयर, तो 10,000 का 50% क्या होगा? इज 55,000
जी
ठीक है। अगर 55,000 ए टू आई में अगर 65,000 है
जी
तो 10,000 you should go to basic, and A to I का 65,000 की जगह 55,000.
राइट सर
So you have to proportionately and conveniently reduce 65 to 55,000 and add 10,000 to either basic D or whatever the component permits you.
Right, sir.
Sir, any other question that
Not
you
as
have
of
got?
now, sir. We are over with the code on wages. Let's
Okay.
move to code on social security.
Now talking about social security, the first important is your PF.
Provident fund.
PF किसके ऊपर काटना? This is the talk of a town today.
ESI, PF.
ESI, PF. अभी ग्रेजुइटी के ऊपर काफी डिस्कशन चल रहा है. तो PF के ऊपर तो आप you can take 15,000, you can take 50%, and then you go ahead with take a special written opinion before you get into it. This is what I would suggest.
जी.
Take a special specific written opinion of experts, or you can consult us. At this stage on this platform, I think I should not come out with a kind of prescription that you go with either 15,000 or 50%.
Right, sir.
The same is true with the ESI as well. क्योंकि देखो PF में भी कैप है 15,000 का
जी.
ESI में भी कैप है
21,000
यानी 21,000 का
जी.
ग्रेजुइटी में भी कैप है 20 lakhs का
जी ठीक
है ना? यस नो?
यस यस.
तो तीनों तीन का अच्छे से इंटरप्रिटेशन करके वी कैन हेल्प देम आउट, and you go to the Shram Suvidha portal and see whether 50% is acceptable to you. I think you can make this attempt and see if it is accepted.
Okay.
But in adhering to a new provision, there are no risk involved except financial implication.
जी.
That is what I can informally give you a suggestion, saying that you can go ahead if you are prepared with restructuring, and if you are prepared with the management approvals and financial implications, you can go ahead with 51, 52, 53, 54% and start subscribing the law in a true fashion, so that there are no litigations in the future implementation.
जी sir.
So it would be better if you start implementing things. तो इसमें गवर्नमेंट का नोटिफिकेशन ये सब का वेट करना, मुझे अभी इट इज टू अर्ली टू थिंक लाइक दिस. यू स्टार्ट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग इफ यू आर प्रिपेयर्ड फाइनेंशियली, if you are prepared from HR perspective and all the other homework, you can go ahead.
Right, sir. Right.
Sir, any other you?
नहीं सर, प्रोविडेंट फंड अभी हम सोशल सिक्योरिटी पे ही चलते हैं कि जो अलग अलग एक्ट्स जो सोशल.
Sir, but I let me share with you my experience. There when I meet people, each person has a different perception of a gratuity. Now, what is important in gratuity is Section 2A. Okay, Section 2A stands for continuous service. तो continuous service किसको बोलते हैं? तो पूरा 9 lines का description है, and you will find last line there is a full stop.
जी.
Okay, so when you read it once, when you read it twice, when you read it thrice, the interpretation different, understanding difference. I am not saying interpretation.
Right.
Now, when you talk to, you will have 10 contractors. So if you talk to each contractor, their understanding of, gratuity is completely different. That is the last example. But if you see within your team, within HR team, if you ask them to calculate a gratuity, they all differ. Because अभी एक क्वेश्चन जो रिपीटेडली आ रहा है, रिपीटेडली इन whatever forum we talk about, that after 4 years and 240 days, is that gratuity payable? अभी आपको मैं दूसरा ये बताता हूँ, इसका आंसर मैं आपको बाद में दूंगा. बट ग्रेजुइटी में लेबर लॉज में और लेबर कोड में कुछ भी चेंज नहीं है एक्सेप्ट डेफिनेशन ऑफ वेजेस.
डेफिनेशन ऑफ, मतलब आपको कहने का मतलब है जो 9 एक्ट्स हैं टोटल
सोशल सिक्योरिटी
में डाले गए हैं, वो जिस भी डेफिनेशन को रेफर करेंगे, वो कोड ऑन वेजेस की जो डेफिनेशन ऑन वेजेस है उसी को रेफर करके सारी कैलकुलेशंस करेंगे, चाहे वो ग्रेचुइटी है, चाहे प्रोविडेंट फंड है, चाहे वो ईएसआई है, चाहे वो लीव एनकैशमेंट है।
You have very rightly coined. This is how the definition of wages is common across 4 codes. For example, अभी आप OSH कोड में जाएंगे तो लीव एनकैशमेंट का प्रावधान OSH कोड में है
जी,
करेक्ट नो करेक्ट में
बिल्कुल ठीक है।
तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर का सैलरी पेमेंट इज पार्ट ऑफ OSH कोड बिकॉज पूरा चैप्टर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर का उसमें बना है।
सर मैंने OSH पढ़ा था तो उसमें तो ज्यादातर जो चीजें हैं वो फैक्ट्री एक्ट से रिलेटेड डाली गई हैं, बिकॉज
सर
उसमें नाम से ही डिफाइंड है ऑक्यूपेशनल हेल्थ सेफ्टी एंड वर्किंग कंडीशंस, जो कि फैक्ट्री एक्ट में ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड है। ये सब में शॉप्स एंड कमर्शियल एस्टेब्लिशमेंट एक्ट कहाँ चला गया?
नहीं है सर, so it is not
क्या वो खत्म हो गया?
नहीं sir, it is an independent act by itself, is not part of a code. I'll give you a second answer. There are multiple laws which are not part of code. For example, POSH is not a part of code.
जी,
Apprentices 1961 is not a part of code.
जी,
So they stand alive today in addition to, आपको कोड अलग से देखना है, ये 3-4 बहुत सारे कायदे हैं जो इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ, और 29 लेबर लॉज है। जैसे आपने फैक्ट्री एक्ट का पूछा
जी,
तो OSH कोड में माइंस भी है, तो प्लांटेशन भी है, सीनियर वर्कर्स भी है, फिर आपके पत्रकार जो जर्नलिस्ट है दे आर आल्सो पार्ट, BOCW also is a part.
राइट।
So if you look at OSHW code per se helps in administration of a business.
जी,
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कैसे करना है बिजनेस का, ठीक है, लीव प्रावधान कैसे होगा, वर्किंग आवर्स कैसे होगा, सेफ्टी कैसे होगा, input from these chapters will strengthen administration of your business. This is what the purpose of the particular code named as OSHW.
सर एक बड़ा क्यूरोसिटी क्वेश्चन है, जनरली सब पूछते हैं और लोगों को कहीं वो पता भी नहीं होता, या तो वो इंटरप्रिटेशन गलत करते हैं या लैक ऑफ नॉलेज है। एम्प्लॉय किसको बोलते हैं, वर्कर किसको बोलते हैं, क्या सुपरवाइजर वर्कर की कैटेगरी में आता है, क्या मैनेजर वर्कर की कैटेगरी में आता है कि नहीं आता? मतलब आज की डेट में जो इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन कोड है, अगर हम उसको रेफर करें तो कौन वर्कर है तो कौन एम्प्लॉय है, ये जरा अगर आप बता सके।
सर आपको थोड़ा सा मैं अलग से इनपुट दूंगा, क्योंकि लेबर लॉज में बहुत सारी डेफिनेशन है वर्कर की और वर्कमैन की, दोनों डेफिनेशन है। कहीं आपको वर्कमैन मिलेगा, वर्कमैन कहाँ मिलेगा आपको, मिलेगा ID एक्ट में मिलेगा, आपको स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स में मिलेगा, और वर्कर कहाँ मिलेगा आपको, फैक्ट्री एक्ट में मिलेगा। बट ये मल्टीप्लिसिटी ऑफ डेफिनेशन को हर एक कोड में सिंगल डेफिनेशन बना के वर्कर बना दिया
जी।
अभी वर्कमैन निकल गया,
वर्कर रह गया।
अभी योर क्वेश्चन is that a worker is different from employee or is an employee different from a worker? This is what the question that you raised.
जी सर।
अभी वर्कर का डेफिनेशन देखेंगे ना तो आई जस्ट गिव यू द लिटिल ऑफ अ हाईलाइट। वर्कर किसको बोलते हैं? पर्सन हु डज क्लेरिकल सुपरवाइजरी ऑपरेशनल स्किल, सेमी स्किल, अनस्किल वगैरह वगैरह। ये कुछ 9 किस्म का एन्यूमरेशन उसमें दिया है
जी।
अभी द पर्सन हु इन एडिशन टू दिस, अ पर्सन हु डज एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एंड मैनेजरियल जॉब इज एन एम्प्लॉय।
ओके,
तो डिफरेंशिएट क्या हुआ? जैसे क्लेरिकल ऑपरेशनल टेक्निकल, स्किल, सेमी स्किल, अनस्किल एंड हाईली स्किल, ये जो काम करते हैं वो हो गए स्किल बेस्ड हो गए, जिनको मैन्युअली काम करना है, हाथ से काम करना है, ठीक है, जिनके पास एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पावर्स नहीं है, स्पेसिफिकली वेयर द पावर्स आर इन्वेस्टेड। अभी पावर्स का बहुत सारा मतलब होता है। You can tell me that your performance is good, better, best. You can create a technical proposal. You can sanction my leave. You can sanction. These are all authorities. You can appoint me. You can influence management decisions.
तो मैं वर्कर नहीं हूँ,
तो आप वर्कर नहीं,
मैं एम्प्लॉय।
अभी आपका एक बहुत अच्छा सवाल था कि सुपरवाइजर इसके बीच में कहाँ फिट होता है?
सुपरवाइजर, और सर इसके पे सैलरी कैप भी है कि भाई मेरी सैलरी
18,000 का कैप, अभी जो पहले 15,000 था वो चारों कोड में अभी 18,000 हो गया। But I'm sure you would have read recent judgment on Delhi High Court saying that the pilot के ऊपर कुछ pilot is a workman. तो why it is not workman? पूरा enumeration वो पूरा दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का जजमेंट दिया है।
5 लाख रुपए की सैलरी ले रहा है और वो वर्कमैन की कैटेगरी में।
Sir, what judiciary says is, correct me if I'm wrong, you have also passed through this, that what the nature of work is more important than the salary that you get. Okay. So what is nature of work? Nature of work is you are doing technical, supervisory, clerical, semi-skilled, unskilled, वगैरह वगैरह काम.
जी ठीक है.
But when you are administrative and managerial, you are not a workman क्योंकि आपके पास powers है. अभी administration में क्या हो गया? सर आई एम एलिजिबल फॉर ट्रेन, बट आप मुझे बोल सकते हैं नहीं आप फ्लाइट में जाओ. तो आपने आपका पावर यूज किया, सो यू आर नॉट अ वर्कमैन. ओके, यू कैन वेरी वेल से आप बी शिफ्ट में नहीं सी शिफ्ट में आओ जी. तो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग इज यू आर डूइंग अ मैन पावर प्लानिंग. ठीक है, आप बोलते हैं नहीं अभी छुट्टी मत लो, एक वीक के बाद लेना. सो यू आर एक्सरसाइजिंग योर पावर. दिस इज हाउ यू आर मैनेजर. So you have controls with you. I'll tell you to convert that into very simple 3 words.
2 सिनेरियो है इसमें. फिर इसका मतलब अगर मैं मैनेजर, मुझे डेजिग्नेशन मैनेजर का दे दिया है या वाइस प्रेसिडेंट का दे दिया, प्रेसिडेंट का दे दिया है, एक कंपनी ने मेरी सैलरी 4 लाख रुपए कर दी है, बट मैं कोई डिसीजन नहीं ले सकता, मेरे पास कोई टीम नहीं है, मैं किसी को कुछ नहीं बोल सकता.
Then you are an independent man without having a team is a workman.
Is a workman. और प्रोग्रेसिव इंडिया में आज की डेट में आईटी इंडस्ट्री का बड़ा योगदान है. तो सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर जो है बहुत सारे हैं. तो
sir, if he's let us remember one very specific word. If you don't have a power and if you don't have a controls, then you are a workman.
Right.
Number 1. Number 2 is your question still stands. The supervisor कहाँ fit होगा? Will he go to workman or will he go to a manager? If he is a managerial and administrative power invested in supervisor, then he is the manager. But he is doing simple work of a clerical, operational, manual skill, unskilled. Then he is a workman, irrespective of what salary.
Sir, ये 18,000 रुपए का जो आपने थोड़ी देर पहले बात की थी, वो थोड़ा सा बताना नहीं बता.
Sir, ये 18,000 is a cap. If you are drawing salary more than 18,000 or less than 18,000, if it is less than 18,000, you are a workman.
Okay.
And if you're more than 18,000, you are a manager.
सर अगर मैं मैनेजर हूँ, मेरी सैलरी 15,000 रुपए, सपोज मैं मैनेजर हूँ एक बहुत छोटी सी कंपनी में, मैं 15,000 की सैलरी है और मेरे पास 4 बंदों की टीम भी है जिनको मैं गाइड करता हूँ.
In that case, you are a manager because the powers are invested in you.
तो वो फिर 18,000 की जो वो मायने नहीं रखती है.
Sir, this is my view. Let somebody you stand up and argue, getting into more details of his job profile. And then, decide whether he is a workman or he is an employee. But for me, because powers and controls are invested in him, he has a team reporting to 5-10 people, then he is an administrative and managerial. Sir, इसके सिवा 2 और किस्म के प्रोफेशनल्स हैं जो ये डेफिनेशन में फिट नहीं होते हैं. जैसे आर्म्ड फोर्सेस. तो आर्म्ड फोर्सेस किसको बोलते हैं? आर्म्ड फोर्सेस, आर्मी नेवी एंड एयर फोर्स. ये कैटेगरी में फिट नहीं होते. दूसरा, आर्म्ड फोर्सेस में पुलिस आल्सो इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस, दे आर आल्सो नॉट पार्ट ऑफ दिस.
राइट.
एंड तीसरा है जो जेल स्टाफ है, प्रिजन का जो स्टाफ है, दे आर आल्सो नॉट फॉलोइंग.
ओके.
सो ये सब्जेक्ट, सर, एक्चुअली आई विल गिव यू अ समरी ऑफ almost 45-50 judgments which I have studied and I have converted into, if you have 1, 2, 3, you
उसके लिए तो हमें पूरे दिन का सेशन करना पड़ेगा.
बहुत लंबा सब्जेक्ट है. Let us not.
वो हम नेक्स्ट प्लानिंग में करेंगे.
We will do it when
in a nutshell, individual contributor जो है वो वर्कर ही है.
Yes,
और जो टीम को लेके चलता है और उसको इंस्ट्रक्ट करता है, गाइड करता है, वो मैनेजर है और वो वर्कर की कैटेगरी में नहीं.
सर, एक और समरी छोटा सा देता हूँ. There is a word, there are 3 words which can be understood better to differentiate between, that is supervision, control and direction. आप मुझे बोलते हैं ये काम ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करो. That means you are using your professional power to redesign my work. That is the direction.
जी.
सुपरविजन, आप मेरे को दिन में 10 बार देख के जाते हैं, आपका काम सही है गलत है. सुपरविजन, डायरेक्शन एंड कंट्रोल, आपका कंट्रोल मेरे ऊपर है
जी. अगर
ये सुपरविजन, डायरेक्शन एंड कंट्रोल है, which is otherwise known as an authority,
जी,
तो then you are a manager.
Right.
In very simple terms.
मेरा कंट्रोल है तो मैं मैनेजर हूँ, नहीं है तो जो मर्जी डेजिग्नेशन लो मैं वर्कर.
Yes.
चाहे मुझे 10 लाख रुपए पे करो.
Yes. आपके
पास आपको चैलेंज कर सकता हूँ कोर्ट में.
Yes, कर सकते हैं.
इन द कैपेसिटी ऑफ अ वर्कर.
Yes.
राइट. सर, हम बात कर रहे थे कोड ऑन सोशल सिक्योरिटी की. कैलकुलेशन तो ऑब्वियसली सारी जो बेस्ड है वो कोड ऑन वेजेस.
आई एम श्योर ऑडियंस में से किसी ने ये एक्सेल शीट देख के कुछ फैक्टरिंग पैसे का किया होगा.
If they have any questions pertaining that, we are ready to help them out to understand where 50% से ज़्यादा है and how it has to be factored back to basic. So if there are any questions with respect to, so that हमारा जो discussion 2 घंटे का हुआ, which should get converted into money to reconceptualize it, each factor,
Right.
connecting that to money. That is what will give you money. अगर इसमें किसी को additional help चाहिए, then I am available. We both of us are available and we'll help them out when we announce second, third, fourth such.
I believe सर हमने डिटेल में कोड ऑन वेजेस कर लिया और जो कोड ऑन सोशल सिक्योरिटी है उसकी सारी चीज कैलकुलेशन जो कोड ऑन वेजेस पे ही बेस्ड है और वही हमने समराइज वे में अंडरस्टैंड कर ही लिया है कि कैसे हमने सोशल सिक्योरिटी को कैलकुलेशंस करनी है.
सर आई थिंक ये जो हमने सेल्फ सफिशिएंट बनाने का पहले बताया, आई थिंक विद आवर डिस्कशन पीपल कैन डू थिंग्स ऑन देयर ओन रादर देन looking for a help from a person like you and me. Of course we are there to help them out for further conceptual clarity. We'll have them in the second, third, fourth session and we can do that.
सर एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन आया है कि जब हमने रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग करनी है एज पर न्यू कोड, क्या हम जो पीएफ की कंट्रीब्यूशन है उसको रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं? अगर हम उसको रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग करेंगे, हो सकता है कि भाई पहले मैं 70% बेसिस पे पे कर रहा था, अब मुझे उसको रिस्ट्रक्चर करना है, अलाइन करना है कोड्स के साथ, तो वो 50% में ले आया बेसिक.
सर कर सकते हैं.
कोई इसमें कोई रेपरकशन तो नहीं?
सर 50% से कम नहीं करना.
हाँ.
You cannot under subscribe the law.
Okay.
Under subscribe is what? Less than 50% is you are breaching the law. Let us not do that for 1, 2, 3%. Rather, you very rightly said people are going for 51, 52, 50. I have seen industries where 2-4% बढ़ा के they are litigation safe.
जी.
उनका कोई risk mode में क्यों लेके जाने का? Only because of 2-3%. So when you are factoring your money, remain focused on a 50%. That is the first rule. Second rule is never ever go beyond 14 components. That is what I personally have been interacting with so many experts and all. They all believe that नहीं 14 के बाहर नहीं, तो आपको 28 तक जा सकते हैं, 30 तक जाते हैं. Who stops?
Right.
तो फिर कायदे का मतलब क्या हुआ सर? You are not supposed to travel beyond 14 components. That is what we feel.
Right, sir. ठीक है सर. Can we move to either code on industrial relations or
yes,
on OSH, whichever you are comfortable with?
Yeah, I'm comfortable, sir. You can ask me any questions.
So let's go to the industrial relations then.
Yes.
So, industrial relations sir को मतलब बनाने की जरूरत क्यों पड़ी? ऑलरेडी हमारे पास कौन सा?
सर बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा आपने. The first time in the history of India, except BIR Act, relation has become a part of law.
जी.
अभी law says that you are supposed to maintain relations. तो अगर आप सोचेंगे हम 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी कैसे बनेंगे, अगर रिलेशंस डिस्टर्ब्ड हैं, तो आप कुछ भी सोशल सिक्योरिटी कुछ भी लॉ लेके आओ, अगर रिलेशंस ठीक नहीं है, दिस इज व्हाट आईआर कोड सेज दैट.
Okay.
Use OSH code, use wage code, use social security in a true fashion to make sure that all interested parties in the business, the relations are maintained. This is how.
जी.
Works committee, grievances redressal committee, then your recognition of trade union, then raising bar from 100 to 300. They are all focused on relations. Let us take positive view of all these provisions.
जी sir.
तो अगर आप grievances redressal committee में लोगों की जितने grievances है, if you are resolving, I am sure relations will strengthen.
बिल्कुल ठीक है.
Number one. Number two is, if you see the purpose of works committee is to harmonize relations. बहुत specifically लिखा है. And if you see the inception, the day 1947 IR code, ID Act was incepted. The purpose of that ID Act is to harmonize relations.
जी.
उसमें मशीनरी भी दिया है. और if you see the definition of industrial dispute, इतना सिंपल बना दिया है सर आज. ID Act में आप देखेंगे तो इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट का डेफिनेशन इज almost 20-25 lines. And now it is only 6 lines.
जी सर.
तो ये रिलेशन को भी काफी सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया है आफ्टर अमेंडिंग द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट.
सर इसमें कौन कौन से एक्ट को इन्वॉल्व किया है कोड ऑन इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस में?
आईआर कोड में तीन लॉ का इंटीग्रेशन है. वन इज इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट्स एक्ट 1947, इंडस्ट्रियल एम्प्लॉयमेंट स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स एक्ट एंड ट्रेड यूनियन एक्ट 1926. तो ये 3 कायदों को मिला के फिर ये आईआर कोड बनाया है, which is otherwise smallest code and it is lot of repercussions on the relations per se. ओके अगर आप कितना भी अच्छा लॉ को अबाइड करते हैं बट रिलेशंस ठीक नहीं है
जी
ग्रीवेंसेस आर नॉट redressed
जी
and then the business I think can have a different phase of life. So this is what the heart and the purpose of designing the IR code. This is what I have perceived that as.
सर इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस तो ज्यादा मैटर्स होते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट है वो ज्यादा हमारे एडवोकेट्स हो गए और लीगल फैटर्निटी हो गई कोर्ट्स में, ये इन मामलों में ज्यादा चलते हैं। ट्रेड यूनियंस ऑफ कोर्स जो बहुत लास्ट स्केल्स पे ऑपरेट करते हैं, बट जो थर्ड वन है स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स वाला, इसको थोड़ा सा आप बताएंगे कि अब स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स
सर स्टैंडिंग
किस पे है किस पे नहीं है?
स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स में क्या है सर दैट
स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स होते क्या है, को तो ये नहीं पता, आप वो बताइए।
स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स इज गवर्निंग द कंडीशन ऑफ सर्विसेज इनसाइड द फैक्ट्री, इनसाइड द प्रीमाइसेस। फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे आपका इसमें बहुत सारे चैप्टर्स वगैरह हैं, तो स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स वर्क्स एज अ गाइडिंग फैक्टर फॉर मेंटेनिंग डिसिप्लिन इन द फैक्ट्री। फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज द डिसिप्लिन जी। Second important is the disciplinary action. ठीक है, there are people who don't abide by the law. How do you deal with them? The standing order deals with them. This is what standing orders are. जी. तो उसमें दो किस्म के standing orders हैं. One is you can have your own design standing order, and second is the government designs. Okay. Government designs and give you the follow this. Applicable किस पे है ये? Applicable sir 300 के ऊपर. 300 क्या? 300 is a workman. Sir, 300 is a workman. जिसके अंदर, the very right question that you have. 300 is applicable only to the organization's workman. जिसमें contract labor वगैरह नहीं आएंगे. Now you'll have a question saying that why? The reason is contract labor का employer कौन है? Contractor. तो contractor बनाएगा standing orders. अच्छा, आपका क्या मतलब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का भी स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर होना चाहिए? होना चाहिए सर। देयर आर मेनी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हु 300 बंदे होंगे तभी बना पाएगा। ऑब्वियसली सर, हु इनिशिएट्स डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन अगेंस्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर इज द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर। अभी इफ यू गो बैक टू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयर, जिसमें अभी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एम्प्लॉयर। अभी इफ यू लुक एट द डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर आल्सो इज अ पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर। ठीक है। So subcontractor also is an employer, so should have to have his own standing orders, either certified or follow the government. जी. So this is what will drive the discipline within the premises of each contractor and followed by the employer. The premises owner, that is occupier, manager, आप जो भी बोल लोगे, या principal employer, they are all one and same according to me. तो मेरा इसका मतलब ये है कि मैं अगर एक फैक्ट्री ओनर हूँ, मेरे पास शॉप फ्लोर जो वर्कर्स हैं वो 300 हैं, तो मेरे ऊपर बाय डिफॉल्ट वो एप्लीकेबल हो ही जाएगा, या तो मैं उसको सर्टिफाइड कराऊं या मॉडल स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर को अडॉप्ट करूं। ठीक है। यस, अगर मेरे पास 250 वर्कर्स हैं और 50 एम्प्लॉइज हैं, तो वो एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा। नहीं होगा ना सर। दिस सर आईटी एक्ट और आईआर कोड एक्ट स्पेसिफिकली मेंट फॉर द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट यू रेज, differentiate between employee and a worker rather. So this is applicable more to the workman and not to the employer. इसके अंदर employee का responsibility अलग है जी। They are supposed to work as a resolving agency, problem resolving agency of the workman जी। So आपका इधर parental role है। आपके पास worker आएंगे, you are not a part of problem, you are part of solution. Right. Okay, so whenever any grievances come, if you see the formation of works committee, if you see the formation of grievances redressal committee, 50% employee है, employer's representative है, that is employee, and 50% workman. So this is how it is formed. We are all supposed to resolve the problems of. We have a parental role. We have more administrative and power responsibility. Right, sir. So we can give them a decision, we can make them, we'll listen to their grievances, resolve them in a right fashion, and maintain the balance of interest. जी. All this is according to me, amongst all 4 codes, one code is very important, and that is IR code. क्योंकि relation maintain करना है, बाकी social security ये वो अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा प्रावधान है जी। But इससे it is an integrated efforts to maintain a business. Any of the code in isolation, वो ऐसा समझना ठीक नहीं रहेगा.
Right, sir.
Any other question, sir?
तो एक सर क्वेश्चन ये है कि मैं पहले से मेरे पास स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर सर्टिफाइड थे. अब नया इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन कोड आ गया है, तो मेरे पुराने स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स का क्या होगा? क्या मैं वो फॉलो करूं? क्या मैं नए अप्रूव करवाऊं? क्या मैं मॉडल
Sir, it is your decision. If you want to, देखो आपके सर्टिफाइड स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर जो भी है आज, if it is not matching with the first schedule of IR code and a model standing order, let me repeat this. If it is not matching with the first schedule of IR code, there is a schedule attached to a code जिसमें items वगैरह लिखे हैं, that certified standing orders में क्या क्या होना चाहिए.
जी.
Which are all the pravadhan you will have to enumerate when you get your standing order certified.
Right.
Number one. Number two, government ने जो model standing orders बनाया है, उसमें से अगर इसमें कोई item रह गया, then you have to incorporate two references and make the standing order certified.
Right, समझ गया.
My personal or IR advice to my friends would be to go with the model standing orders. Why to get into certification and all that? The reason being, when there are amendments in the standing orders, model standing orders, it is directly incorporated. Whereas we'll have to recertify to get those provisions incorporated. So you are doing work otherwise, which is, which does not generate any mileage out of it. And the purpose is served using model standing orders.
Sir, अगर मेरे 4 ऑफिस हैं, मेरे हेड ऑफिस यहाँ पे जयपुर में बेस्ड है, मेरे 50 एम्प्लॉइज हैं, हरियाणा में 50 है, पंजाब है, उत्तर प्रदेश में, ऐसे करके मेरे पास 300-350 वर्कर्स हो गए हैं. क्या मुझे स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर लेना पड़ेगा? और अगर नहीं लेना है तो वो भी क्यों नहीं लेना? अगर लेना है तो क्या मैं जयपुर में, राजस्थान में हर स्टेट में लूं?
Sir, you are stating, your statement provokes me to think that if you are existent in multi-state, then central rules are applicable. You are giving an example of multi-state. ठीक है, आप 4-5 राज्य में आपका कारोबार चल रहा है, तो then you are supposed to be a part of central rules.
जी.
And if you are only in Punjab, you are in one state, then it is central rules are applicable.
Central, फिर मैं central का जो model standing
state वाला आपको applicable. For that state, that is applicable.
तो एक स्टेट में अगर सब मेरे 300 से ऊपर चले गए,
तो then you get either you adopt model standing order or you get it certified.
Being as a good businessman, मैं तो चाहूंगा कि भाई मैं मॉडल को फॉलो करूं, मैं क्यों बिना मतलब में जाके.
That is your administrative decision to choose between the two.
Right.
But certified standing orders में efforts ज़्यादा लगाने पड़ते हैं.
बिल्कुल ठीक है, क्योंकि
और model standing orders,
legal involved.
When the law is made by the government, let us believe that.
Yes.
Let us follow that, because it's a very good document, duly screened by so many legal experts.
ठीक sir.
ठीक है. And there is a difference between the law which is certified by the government and there is a law which is locally certified. तो उसमें कुछ तो difference रहेगा.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है, इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन एक्ट में जो रिट्रेंचमेंट कॉम्पनसेशन अलाउंस है वो 50% ऑफ वेजेस है. ये क्वेश्चन किसी ने रेज किया है. कोड ऑन आईआर स्टेट्स रिट्रेंचमेंट अलाउंस टू बी 50% ऑफ वेजेस. सो अगर टेक्निकली बात करें तो क्या ये जो 50% है, जो ऑलरेडी 50% वेज की डेफिनेशन है, उसका 50 है कि 100 का है?
ये 100 का है.
तो दैट मीन्स वो जो हमारी 50% वाली डेफिनेशन थी वो एज इट इज वो लेना है.
हाँ, सिंपल है.
तो वो 50 का 25 नहीं करना, 50 का 50 लेगा.
सर देखो, the interpretation here is that there has to be a good balance between 1, 2, 3, that is basic DA and retaining allowance, and 50% has to be A to I. इसका 50% डिस्टर्ब नहीं होना. That is what the final interpretation.
ठीक है.
It's very simple. It has been made simple, but I don't know how it has, how people have been led to confusion as really don't know.
Right, sir.
So only remember 2 set of allowances. One is basic D and HRA, and the last one is A to I, 9 components. दोनों 50-50% होना चाहिए. If you are making basic D 51-52%, then बाकी का 48-49% हो जाए।
जी समझ गया सर।
And if you want to maintain 50 plus 50 and 51 plus 50, आपका 1-2% ज्यादा बढ़ेगा. That also is an option. And you can have, instead of 1 lakh rupee, you can have 1 lakh and 10,000.
Got that.
And then you neutralize the impact of the additional 10,000 that you have factored. So this is how it can be done.
Right. Sir, क्या आप हमें बता सकते हैं हमारे पास कितना टाइम हो रहा है?
We have 5 more
We need
minutes.
to
We have 5 more minutes. Sir, one more point.
In the meanwhile, जी sir.
Sir, I have a question to the audience. The sheet which I have shown you, Excel sheet, किसी ने इसमें 10,000, 5,000 वगैरह लोड करके कुछ क्वेश्चंस रेज किया है क्या? तो 10 minutes. Okay, very good. So किसी ने कुछ क्वेश्चन लोड किया है, that is
अभी उससे रिलेटेड नहीं आया मेरे पास कोई.
Sorry?
अभी उससे रिलेटेड.
So that means the Excel sheet का जो हमने support किया है, I think it withstands.
Right.
This is what I mean. It gives me a confidence saying that.
Simply वो आपने define already कर दिया, वो simple सा है, उसको follow करना है. 50% का ratio है.
So I follow 3 major principles to conclude on wages. One is understand law after reading the law. People, they try to digest the law without having opening the book.
जी.
So my first input to friends would be read this definition the way I have presented it for you. जैसे मैंने आपको एरो बना के दिया, पहले एक पैराग्राफ पढ़ो, फिर दूसरा, फिर तीसरा, फिर then raise a question for each arrow and get yourself satisfied that yes, I am on a track. Use first paragraph, understand it, second, third, fourth, fifth. First principle is read the book. Second principle is 50%. 50% ऊपर, 50% second basket.
Right.
ठीक है? Third principle is never ever go beyond 14 components. ठीक है? You can go below 14 components, maintaining 50%.
Right.
Okay, these three principles which I have I've been advising and suggesting people, and I have seen people that are digesting these 3 principles well. So these you can note down. You can use this Excel sheet for your future reconstruction of salary wages. And in case if you have any doubt, me and Aap, we are available. Holding hands of people. Number 1, number 2 is हमने जो wages का definition explain किया, we have not explained wages with respect to contract labor. That will be a second phase. That will be a second session by itself, because these explanation and contract labor का wages, ये दो में थोड़ा difference है. So that will take up when we talk about the second, third session on. अभी आप और एक सवाल पूछना जो और बाकी है, which was asked to me in the due course of different training, that what happens when it is a piece rated. आपने शुरू में कुछ ये शब्द यूज किया था मुझे लगता है. तो when it is piece rated, how his wages will be decided.
Right, sir. Right.
Number 3, there are outsourcing. This is also word which you use. According to me, outsources are of 3 types. One is outsources out of premises. Second, outsource is an intermittent. People, they enter inside, but they more of the time they remain away from the premises. Third, outsourcing is people, the work is outsourced, but they work in my factory, working within my premises, licensed premises. So these all 3 outsourcings are different.
Right, sir.
And तीनों तीन का wages restructuring a subject by itself. So this is what we have not focused, for which we can think of a second session.
Right,
and we can help them. The reason being, क्योंकि आप एक एग्जांपल ले लो जहां पे 1000 लोग काम करते हैं, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर काफी ज्यादा होते हैं. तो फोकस हैज टू बी मोर ऑन वेयर द स्ट्रेंथ इज मोर. सो हमने we have covered this. I think we can have a session on where the numbers are more.
संजय जी, इसी के साथ हमारा समय, हमें नोटिफिकेशन आ गई है कि पूरा हो गया है. मैं अपनी ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूंगा कि 2 घंटे के ड्यूरेशन में हमने कोड ऑन सोशल सिक्योरिटी, कोड ऑन वेजेस और अपार्ट ऑफ कोड ऑन इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस को कवर किया है। ओएसएच के लिए हम चाहेंगे कि लेटर ऑन हम एक और ऑर्गेनाइज करें सेमिनार या वर्कशॉप, जिसमें हम स्टेट के जो रूल्स है तब तक शायद वो भी पब्लिश हो जाएंगे, तो हम उसको इनकॉर्पोरेट करके आपके लिए नया सेशन लाएंगे। सो नाउ इट्स ओवर टू मोनाली फॉर द कंक्लूजन। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir. Thanks for asking me difficult questions and making my life.
It's my pleasure, and I'm always at the learning end.
Yes,
you,
yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for good coordination.
Over to
Yeah.
Monali.
Thank you so much, sir. A heartfelt thank you for conducting such an insightful, engaging, and highly informative session. Thanks to Timelabs for conducting such wonderful webinars under the banner of HR Samvad. हम और ऐसे sessions लेके आएंगे. We also thank all the participants, and we have received an overwhelming response from above 400 participants, and it is slightly difficult to answer all the questions. The speakers have tried their best to answer most of them, but if you still have any queries or points, you can write them to us at help desk and reach to us via HR Samvad info link. For more information, follow our page on LinkedIn and Instagram. Stay intact for all the latest updates as we are going to bring more sessions like this one. Thank you so much.